Alright guys, hello and welcome back to another Star Rail video on the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at Pride new tier list update, and it's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with the direction the game is going in with the new game mode release of Pure Fiction. If you enjoyed today's video, consider leaving a like, subscribing to the channel is looking new, and let's just jump straight into things. Now if you guys don't know what Pride is, it's basically just a resource for a bunch of different video games that you can essentially check information and data on, and is, in my opinion, by far the best resource for anything Honkai Star Rail related. But they just recently updated their tier list to two different game modes essentially for Memory of Chaos and Pure Fiction. In addition to that, they also added some new kind of markers to characters to kind of give a bit more information about where they are in their placements. These are really good changes, and I was kind of hoping that they would do this. I kind of called it with one of my friends in the Discord voice chat, and they were like, I said like, yeah, this is gonna totally happen. They're like, nah, maybe not, but I'm like, yeah, well, and then it did. So I'm pretty happy with that. So this is the old kind of tier list that big guys kind of know as is, which was based off Memory of Chaos. There's been a few changes to it as well, like Damage Dealer, Specialist, Amplifier, Sustain, those roles, and Kafka got moved over there, and she also got the new marker, which is the synergistic thing, because obviously she needs like Sampo to be good or not, but anyways, overall, pretty interesting. Also, I believe Silverwolf was up in, oh man, I can't remember where replacement was. Anyways, overall, this is pretty much the same, but this is not the interesting part we want to talk about today. We want to talk about Pure Fiction. I am loving the shit out of this new game mode. Not because it's particularly hard or difficult. It's you know, takes a little bit of a challenge to like 80,000 score each game mode if you want to actually try and do that. You don't need to though. You only need to hit the 60,000 for the 3 stars. But my god. I love this, and the reason why is it makes characters that were completely irrelevant in other endgame content, for example Himiko and Herta, insanely relevant in the new content, which is awesome. The fact that Herta is sitting in S+ tier at the top of a tier list for Star Rail is just insane to me, and it makes me so goddamn happy. Also, all of those standard banner Himiko Doomers that, like, you know, have like E2 Himiko or E3 Himiko, you're also doing pretty good right now because Himiko is also in the S tier. I'm loving the shit out of this game mode, just for the fact that it makes characters again just relevant that weren't before, and I just kind of love that even is happening to begin with. And I just love that there's basically there's 2 metas in the game right now. There's like your standard kind of like game meta, which is probably leans more towards Memory of Chaos, but also the Memory of Chaos obviously meta is for that. But Memory of Chaos meta kind of applies to like standard content, which is like the same kind of thing. Simulated Universe doesn't really need a meta because you can realistically make any character work in that just because of the way the blessings and curios and that kind of stuff works. That being said though, there's obviously characters that are better than others, but a meta is less relevant for that game mode as much. And then we've got the Pure Fiction meta, which is heavily AoE based. So for those of you guys who don't know, the way most attacks work, there's like 4 different types of attacks. So basically there's single target, 3 target, 5 target, and bounce attacks in this game, which can, you know, hit a certain amount of times up to across random enemies. And the Pure Fiction game mode very much heavily favors 5 target AoE, which is just straight up AoE. And that is why Herta is so amazing at the moment. I'm working on building up my Herta to showcase her in some gameplay, which I'm going to be doing pretty soon, not in today's video, in a future video. Because I want to do a Herta Himiko kind of setup, which I love that I can even say that I didn't even do that. I can't believe I'm actually building Herta, like, for this entire time that I've been playing Star Rail. I've just been looking at Herta as this garbage trash character that I'm never going to build. Like, she was down here with Arlen. Maybe one day we'll get a good game mode for Arlen. No, I really doubt that ever. But man, dude, I'm so keen for like everything that's happening at the moment in Star Rail. I am loving the absolute shit out of this game. Reset just clocked over, so I gotta log back on and do my dailies and shit. But man, dude, the fact that this is even a thing is kind of insane. So let's talk about some of these other characters now. So yeah, obviously we're going to be running, I'm going to be trying out Herta and Himiko. Argenti is just like the king of this game mode. Like, he feels like he was specifically designed for this game. His damage output and his ability to get like score in this game is just insane. You combine him with like Herta, and that's insane. Like, combine him with the Zaval, Himiko, like anyway, he's just insane. And also, that's another thing, Zaval is S tier in this game mode. Another character that has just been very very middle of the road for basically the entirety of Star Rail's lifespan. It's pretty interesting. Actually, finally, a game mode where I agree that Seele is actually somewhat good, because a lot of the enemies are very, very low HP, so you can actually proc her resurgence. I've always disagreed with Seele being top tier in Memory of Chaos. I don't know if that's a hot take, but mainly just for the fact that in order to make her damage output good, you need to be proccing her resurgence, and if you don't proc her resurgence, she's like B or like A tier. And sometimes Memory of Chaos runs, especially in the higher levels, that can be very difficult to do. But in this case, I actually agree with her being an S tier, because yet again, a lot of these enemies in this game mode have very, very low HP, so it's very easy to chain multiple attacks together with her. Obviously, Kafka's going to be pretty good, because she has an AoE ultimate, Blast, which is 3 target, and yeah, she's pretty decent overall for that. Noda, Ruan Mei, Bronny are obviously going to be up there. These two are in my opinion, by far the best supports in the game. They're just top tier in every single way. Like, they're just good for any piece of content. If you can get a Bronny from the standard banner, that's the character you want the most. And then Ruan Mei, the banner that just passed, banner that's currently running and it's about to end soon. She's just top tier as well. And then we've got Fu Xuan, Hua. I always get the name wrong. These two are obviously both really, really good for this game mode as well, because the buffs that are on the Pure Fiction at the moment for this cycle, both of those buffs there's buffs that when you do ultimates, you get proc more of the effect, which I believe was like Shatter or something. Whatever it is, Hua gives ultimate energy, so obviously she's really good there. Obviously she's just a sustain as well. Things like Asta are amazing in this game mode, having any form of speed manipulation, because you're limited to literally 3 cycles, 3 turns or whatever it is. So that's pretty good. And then Tinyun is also really good, obviously, here too. Very awesome. But the thing with this game mode as well is there's a lot of really good budget picks here, or it's not budget picks, a lot of really good A-rank picks here as well. And the reason why is, for most cases in this game mode, you're generally going to be running 2 DPSs. This is very much the 2 DPS game mode, basically. So, like, for example, in my teams at the moment, I'm running a combination of, like, Argenti, Herta, Argenti, Himiko, Herta, with a bit of Jin Liu and maybe some Blade worked in there. But you can also run things like Clara. She's very, very good in this game mode, or Jin Yuan. And this is kind of what I'm getting at. This is the really, really fun part of this game mode. Don't get me wrong, I love the hyper carry meta that has been going since basically the start of the game. What I'm really loving right now is the fact that we're starting to see 2 DPS teams come into play, and in some cases you can even in this game mode you can do 3 DPS, and I don't know, that's just really, really fun to me, and I kind of like the way this is kind of direction it's heading in. And believe it or not, Mbibda is actually not too great in this game mode. I believe it's because of his skill point usage. Maybe when Sparkle comes out, he might be bumped up a few more tiers in this game mode, but him having consuming so many skill points and not allowing your team to have skill points, kind of not great in this game mode, because mainly Mbibda's teams are all hyper carry teams for the most part. There's obviously some fringe cases, but for the most part, he's a hyper carry team, and like I said before, this game mode really, really thrives with dual DPS teams, because you want to be dealing as much AoE damage as possible. So yeah, he's down. I've also never really liked his playstyle that much. He does really, really good damage, but he just uses too many skill points to do the same amount of damage as, like, for example, like Jin Liu or stuff like that. Like, I've just never really liked him that much in terms of his playstyle. But yeah, we don't really need to go too much more into the rest of this tier list. You kind of get the general gist of things. Obviously there's these new synergy kind of things, but this tier list is very, very fun. I love it that the fact that we're finally getting 2 different metas in the game. Because admittedly, it was getting kind of boring, the fact that for DPS, Destruction was basically king and everything else was below. But now we're starting to see, like, Erudition is getting their time to shine in the spotlight. And maybe we'll get future game modes or future Pure Fictions that really favor, say, follow-up attackers or dot teams or stuff like that. I just really like the idea of having multiple metas running in a game and multiple options, and I'm just all here for it. So anyways, guys, that's kind of all I wanted to really go over today, just making light of this. I'll leave a link to this down in the description below if you want to check it out. But yeah, guys, hopefully you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys in another video another time.